Jen's been a speaker on and off for 30 years, which I can't hard to believe, but her favorite topic to speak on is compounding joy, bringing fast, easy, actionable exercises to people to increase their joy and gratitude. Jen has more than 15 years in the foster care sector as both a parent and a trainer. She's written a blog for over 18 years and is a published author of a self-help memoir, Hello, my name is Warrior Princess. Jen is also a partner to an amazing man in Reno, Nevada, a runner, minimalist, and healthy lifestyle enthusiast. So let's give it up for Jen.
Okay, so I need a pedicure. I've met Donna a whole bunch of times. I've had Tupperware for 20 years. It's still kicking. Sue has an amazing website. I was an Air Force dependent in my daughter's Air Force. I went to San Antonio at the end of January for her celebration, and I was lucky to have somebody videotape when I tapped my daughter out. And when I say tap my daughter out, I know that's not right. I wanted to tap out my daughter lots of times, and that's not what I was talking about. My mom sells doTERRA. I love sex toys. A lot. Roberta did energy work with me, and it's the best money I've ever spent on myself. I love Pam. We've known each other and met millions of times. I think Nancy might be a sister of mine that I didn't realize I had, and Alexandra's one of my best friends. Roberta told me to use this microphone. Is it even working?
It doesn't sound like it.
Okay, hang on. I turned it up.
There we go. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Usually people take the microphone away from me, so it's really weird. So I am Jen. I am mom of 18. A fun fact about me is that I have no artistic ability at all. When I was a kid, I had these stuffed animals. It was a yellow bunny and a blue puppy, and I named them Yellow Bunny and Blue Puppy. So my business is called Mom of 18, because I'm Mom of 18. Does anybody want to know how that happened?
Yeah, you know.
I went through infertility, 7 surgeries actually. I was able to get pregnant 7 times, which kind of negates infertility, but it was a process. I had 4 babies, did foster care for 12 years, and then worked in foster care. So I've adopted 5 children, 3 at birth, and I breastfed them. Fun fact. I know. And then I had 5 kids that were really long-term. 3 of them aged out with me. So if you're doing math and you're an accountant, that's 14. I was divorced, and my daughter, who's now 28 and a best friend of ours, a mutual friend, fixed me up with this guy who had 4 kids and his wife had died. So that's 18. I've done a lot of really intense training. Here it is. On super happy subjects like suicide awareness. It gave me a lot of skills working in foster care, and I was at a level where it wasn't just that I took the classes and I was certified, I'm actually training people in these things. So speaking, I've done, it is on over 30 years, believe it or not. I turned 50 this year. There will be a celebration. Thank you. And I know you guys have one burning question for me. The answer is yes.
You're going to take your clothes off?
I will be your Valentine. In the podcast, it's called the Naked Podcaster, and it's about bearing it all, but they are in video, and I do look naked. And I'm not telling you if I am or not. So women need to support each other, and we don't tend to support each other like we should. It's not a competition. I don't care if you have 1 child, or no kids, or your dog mom. It's not a competition. None of it is ever. So we need to support each other. And I apologize, I have to do my own. I am my own assistant. I wrote a book. This is my daughter, Taven. She's 10 now. This picture was taken when she was 5. And it was taken because we give ourselves labels. This one is just my name, and my hair's getting stuck in it, but we give ourselves labels. And I had labels. I had labels victim, survivor, and abused. And Taven, when she was 5 in kindergarten, I wrote those words down, and she copied them in crayon, and I crumpled them up. And the whole goal in that was that you are who you tell yourself you are. So this book can help people, I think. That's why I wrote it. But if people don't read it, it's not helping anyone.
So I have my little sheet from today I'll pass around. If you put your email on it, I will email you a copy of the book. Okay? You can buy it on Amazon and I'll even sign it for you, but I'll email it to you for free. My favorite thing to talk about, compounding joy. Math. It's math. So most people know, you think you're never going to use math. This is like the meme that I should have written. Like, I thought math was over, but it's not. Most people understand compound interest. I know we have some people, mortgage, financial. You buy a house, it's doing a little bit at a time that adds up over time, right? Sometimes that works against us and sometimes that works for us with an investment. But we're talking about compound interest. Everything in life is compound interest. Everything that we do, the friends that you have, the people that you spend time to, the things that you say, the things that you write, everything is compound interest. It's doing small things over time that make a significant impact. So we can do that in a positive way in our lives, or we can do that in a negative way in our lives, and it's kind of up to us. My goal is to give you 13 plus a bonus, things that you can do in your life that will compound gratitude and joy if you do them. All I can do is give them to you. I can't make you do that. But what I didn't like when I went to speaking engagements was either being sold on something or leaving thinking, this is going to be great, it's changing my life, I'm so excited, and having nothing to do when I walked out. So what I want to do is give you things you can do. This was compound interest working for me. Or against me, I don't know. It was a fun night. We're going to do an exercise together now. So I want you to think about something that you say to yourself when no one's around. I'm going to give you an example. I could look in the mirror today when I was on my way here and I could say, you look really good today. You'd look better if you lost 5 pounds. What are the things that you say to yourself on a regular basis? So once you have that thought in your head, then I want you to turn to the person next to you and imagine saying that thing to them. You never would. Alexandra said I never would. I just went prom dress shopping with my daughter who's turning 18, who's a senior in high school. I would have never looked at her and said, damn, that dress looks great. It would look better if you lost 5 pounds. So why are we saying it to ourselves? So when you stop and hear yourself saying those things to yourself, you can flip the script on that. So please be aware of that. Maybe like somebody you love. Look in the mirror and be like, I love you. Look. This is Sean Archer. We are best friends. He doesn't know it yet. But I have a feeling he's going to be really excited when he finds out. I have some stats on him. He has a TEDx talk that is probably one of the funniest things I have. You're nodding. Have you seen? Oh my gosh, it's like pee your pants funny. And he used a slide in his TEDx talk. And it was 5 of the 13 things that I talked about in my talk. So I reached out to him and I said, Sean, we're best friends, and you just don't know it yet. Can I use your slide in my talk? And he very graciously said yes. And we skipped, and there were rainbows and unicorns, and it was great. He's hilarious. So he's had 13 million views on this TEDx talk, and it is absolutely phenomenal. And this is his slide that I asked permission to use. So he talks about creating lasting positive change. And I found him because things that I had done in my life had inadvertently been making a really big difference over time, and I wanted to learn the science behind why those things were making such a significant difference in my life. 2 minutes every day. This is one of the first things, other than the self-talk. That's not something that should be on your list of things to do to increase gratitude. It should just be something you start doing. 2 minutes each day for 21 days. You write 3 things that you are grateful for, and every day has to be new things. 3 new things you're grateful for that day. We want to look for the positive in the world and not the negative. If I go through the drive-thru at Starbucks and the barista completely screws up my order. It's really easy for people these days to be like, dude, you messed up my order. And I can give people slides. If you want any slides, I can email them to you. You really messed up my order and I'm upset. But when he comes on the loudspeaker and he's got great energy, very rarely do we get to that checkout window and go, high five me, you made my day. I love your energy, keep it going. We need to start scanning the world for positive, and this is a very short, quick, easy way that we can do that. So this is actually pictures of my family at dinner. For those of you who are like, oh my gosh, I have 15 people coming over for Thanksgiving. That was every day. But here's the thing, I loved it and I chose it. And because I chose it, I love it. And because I love it, I chose it. I don't know how that hamster wheel goes, but I loved it. And I did something with my kids called high-low. So my table would look something like this. And we would go around the table and I would say, tell me one thing that happened about your day that wasn't that great. Only one thing, because we're focusing on positive. And 3 things, without even knowing the science behind the number 3, or that 3 things of gratitude. Tell me 3 things that are highs, good things that happened to you today. And we would go around the table. And for me, what was hard when my kids were little is that I didn't want to take the time. I had laundry to fold and stuff to do, and I was distracted, and this was, you know, even before the internet. But it was important for me to take 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day to say, you are important to me and I want to know about your day, please tell me. And it spotlighted every one of the kids as we went around the table. So that's another suggestion that you can do in one way or another, is talk about your high and your low. It was really fun, and we still do it. Journals. These are some examples of journals. I love journals. I have a bunch of them. One positive thing every 24 hours. I feel like this is going off and on, and I don't know what's happening. So you can take any journal you want. You can get one of those 50-cent spiral notebooks at Walmart. It doesn't make any difference what it looks like on the outside, although these are some really fun ones. But writing one positive thing every 24 hours. Now that's different than 3 things you're grateful for, but you could probably wrap it in to the same thing. You want your brain to live the positive. Again, you're trying to increase the opportunity for your brain to search for things that are positive, because you're gearing it that way and you're not gearing it to be negative. This is one of my favorite things that also uses your journal. It's called free writing. And basically it's just pulling out that piece of paper and writing what comes to mind. There's no rhyme or reason, there's no right or wrong, there's no anything. You just write what...
Yeah.
You just write whatever's on your mind that you're thinking about. And it's amazing that the ideas that will just kind of pop up. Some of us have the best opportunities in the morning, some of us at night, some of us in the middle of the night when we wake up, and we have all of the images in our head that will solve the world's problem. That happens to me when I'm running. Unfortunately, I don't remember them when I stop running. But free writing's a lot of fun and it's creative. And if there's stuff that you don't like, you can crumple it up and burn it. Exercise. This is a video. If you look up 100 squats for 30 days, I have no idea how I found this video. It shows you what I'm spending my time on. This video has 18 million views, and it took, I think, 6 people. They had to do 100 squats for 30 days. This woman, when it was over, they gave her results, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I have an extra inch of ass." I mean, like, it was really funny. And so it actually made me up my game, my squat game, because they were doing a lot of them. But you want to teach your brain that your behavior matters. It doesn't matter if you're walking your dog, but to get outside, to be in the sunshine, to move your body, and to exercise. You could also get an extra inch of ass. I don't know. I have no control over that. Meditation. Meditation is something I struggled with for a long time because statistically it's amazing. It does all these wonderful things. I felt super distracted and like I couldn't do it right and I didn't know how and I just felt like a failure until I learned what guided meditation was. Roberta actually made a guided meditation audio that I listen to. I have it on, I can put it on for you at any time if you want. But guided meditation was something that I found that kept me a little more grounded. Statistically, it does amazing things. And so I had to let go of the fact that my mind wandered, and I do a guided meditation, and it's wonderful. So find a way that you can silence yourself. It's interesting that it says we pride ourselves on being multitaskers, and years ago, I can single task like a boss and switch to a different single task, but I'll never tell you that I can multitask because I'm just doing several things partially. And meditation helps dial you in. There was a company that did this incredible challenge. They asked their employees to use their email to send emails to each other showing random acts of kindness. So again, we're in a negative world, and when you're working, you're really focused. I was corporate for a long time, and you're focused in a certain way. So what this did was they would send emails, had nothing to do with work, just to say something nice about the person, and the atmosphere in the company changed exponentially. So you can take that, I just loved that example. We can use our email. It doesn't have to take a ton of time and effort. But random acts of kindness, it's not just helping the person, the old lady across the street, or getting the kitten out of the tree. We can do nice things. And what does it say right here? So I use this as an example every time, and I used to bring it, and then I didn't want to get ruined, so I have a pegboard, at my desk. And Alexanne wrote me this letter with her hand. I don't know if you guys know about this, but she used a pen and a card that you open them, and then you write things, you put it in this envelope. It's very cutting edge. There's a stamp involved, you have to know the person where they live. It's crazy. It's very sexy stalking. And then I have this key, I went to my mailbox and opened it up, and I was like, I got a letter from Alexanne. I was like, wonder what she's doing. She's inviting me to something. I'm very popular. And it was a letter about how much she loved me and valued my friendship. We just need to take some time to do those things. And I don't bring it with me anymore because I don't want to lose it, and I don't want it to get messed up, and it hangs on my wall. A thing that I did, and my kids, we have a lot of kids close together in age, they laughed at me a lot, so I did a challenge. I would say, Tara, I really appreciate you. Not what you did, not sitting next to me, not what you said, you. I appreciate you. Thank you for helping me. I appreciate you. My kids would laugh at me. So I had 7 of them at high school at that time, and I did a challenge. Oh girl, the stories I could tell you. Yeah. I drool a lot. I did a challenge that they use that as an example in their life. So when you're in high school and a friend does something for you or a teacher does something for you, just challenge you, just do it. You can think I'm crazy, say I appreciate you, and at the end of 2 weeks, they came back and couldn't believe how people responded to that. My teacher helped me more. I thought my teacher didn't like me. She sat down and helped me and gave me, it doesn't take a lot, guys. It really doesn't take a lot. This is kind of 4 in 1. Of things that you can do that really make a difference in compounding gratitude and joy in your life. Smile. There's all kinds of science about smiling. And here I have some. One of them I think is a total lie. If anybody wants to try to do it with me, we'll do a weekend retreat. I'll show you in a minute. But it does all these great things. It tricks you. It tricks you into thinking that you're happy. You can fake it till you make it. It's awesome. As opposed to sex toys where I'm not going to fake it. So, in 2016, it was a really great year in our family. We had 3 girls graduate. My husband's daughter, my biological daughter, and adopted daughter. So it was you represent the entire demographic of our family, right? And 2 of them graduated from Damani High. Heather Renner was also a girl that graduated from Damani High in 2016, and she was asked to speak. She got up, sweetest little thing. I'm in touch with her. I probably am going to adopt her, and I'll have to change the name of my website. It's fine. But she got up because she got voted Best Smile. She stood in front of the class and she said, I find this so interesting and I'm so thankful. But 4 years ago, I had a suicide attempt. When I worked through that, I decided
I would just start smiling. I would just fake it. And then all of a sudden something started to happen. Not only inside me, which did, but to the people around me. So she's continued to smile until 4 years later she was voted best smile. We don't know the story that's happening with the people around us. And so sometimes all it takes is you smiling at them. Okay, now I have some fun facts, so hang on a second. This one, just go to this one. A British study found that one smile generates the same level of brain stimulation as up to 2,000 bars of chocolate. Who did that? Who sat down, ate 2,000 bars of chocolate, was like, that generated the same happiness as a smile. I feel just as good. But if you want to try it, they do. I can't imagine, like, how did you generate that study? I put it in there because I think it's funny and dumb and
Just
not
shows you where you can get grant funding.
It's crazy. But smiles, like women smile more than men.
Yeah.
Children, 400 times a day, right? So we need to, I mean, look at what adults do. We really need to up the game. Another idea that I have for you, one of my 13, is called the year in review. And I love this. So I started this on one of those little spiral notebooks that I kept in my purse. This is not the day-to-day thing. Today I will put on this list, I will spoke at Polka Dot in Reno at Great Basin, right? This is my 2018. It's things that happen that are above average, above normal, but you know, like I flew 5 times in 2019. I can't remember all 5 of them though. So that's another thing. But these are things that happened in 2018 that you can just kind of see to get an idea. I bought this guitar. I still have not taken lessons. So there you go. I wouldn't have remembered that until I saw it. So these are things that happen to us. Okay? The reason that I do this, and now I do it in my notepad on my phone. I don't do the spiral notebook anymore. The reason I do this every single year for the past years and years and years is because when you hit the end of the year, I don't do resolutions, but I like to look at all of the things that happened. I think we're too hard on ourselves about where we're at and how much we've accomplished. So this gives us an opportunity to look back at kind of the kick-ass year that we had and all the things that happened that we accomplished and to remind us like, wow, it was a lot. So be gentle with yourself, just a little bit.
I do it since she told me about it.
This is my arm.
Yay.
We have mantras or anchors, and anchor is something like, I have this music box. I actually do have, this is not it. Okay, this is my phone. This is a representation of a music, I have a music box. It's about this size. That's my great-grandmother's, and I remember it being in her house. It's something that I have that triggers that memory or that feeling. An anchor is something physical that you keep because of the reminder it gives you in a positive way. And then a mantra is something that you say or that you feel to remind yourself of something positive. Figure out what yours are. That's all. It's a fun little project for you. You don't have to tattoo them on your body, but you can. I worked in an office, there were 7 women. So we had this sheet of paper that said stuff like the colors in your living room, your bedroom, your favorite smell, what's your favorite candy, your favorite drink, like all little like things, right? And then we traded them, we picked them out of the hat and we got to be a secret Santa for that person. When I got that, it was probably 15 years ago. I was going through a divorce. I had 9 kids at the time living at home. I hadn't worked for over a decade because I supported my ex-husband in his business. And I have no regrets about that. But I was working 3 jobs and had 9 kids at home. And I felt like I wasn't good at any of it. I had a lot of shame because I couldn't give enough to my jobs. I couldn't give enough to my kids. I felt really spread out. And when I got this piece of paper, I couldn't actually answer the questions. And I realized that for the first time since I was an adult, I had really lost touch with who I was. I don't know what candy bar you can buy. Like, I don't even know. And I had to go home, and it took me several days to fill it out. And I've kept it. It's in the back of my journal for 15 years. Because I never want to be in that position again where I can't tell you little things that I would like to do for myself because I'm that out of touch. it fell out of my journal once, and my husband picked it up. And he came to me one night, and he said, I want to talk to you. He was really nervous. This was a couple of years ago. And I said, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. And he said, have you been speed dating? And I was like, I've actually never been speed dating, but I think I'd be fantastic at it. But I've never been, and he gave me this piece of paper. So apparently, if you create the secret Santa piece of paper, which I can send you, you can use it to speed date. And I had no idea. So that's like a bonus to the bonus if you want to speed date. But be in touch. Write down the things that are important to you and remind yourself of what you like. Okay, so there's been 13 things that I've told you. Some people don't like the number 13. I have no issue with it. But this is the slide that I get asked to email people the most, just a bullet point of those 13. So, like I said, there's a bonus. Yay! This is not something small you can do every day to add compound interest in your life. I gave you 13 things that are small things, that are quick things, that if you do over time, they're going to grow. This is a more one and done, and it's more time consuming, but it is the best time that you will ever spend. And I know this because I accidentally did it. This is a timeline. All it is time. I don't even know what this timeline is. It's just an example of what a timeline looks. We used to do them in school. History was the biggest place. So what I did when I wrote my book, because it was about my life growing up, is that we tend to chunk our lives in time. My parents divorced when I was 6. I moved in with my great-grandmother when I was 13. My mom remarried when I was 9. That sort of thing. We chunk our lives into time that makes sense to us. So what I did for my book is I chunked my life into time just like this. And I did a physical timeline. I taped paper together to kind of remember, like, where do I have gaps? What things do I remember? So that I could kind of help my brain stay straight while I was writing the book. If there was somebody in my life that had a negative influence, I changed their name in my book. I don't want to talk to them. I have no desire to reach out, and I'm not asking permission to share the story. But what about the people that were positive influences in my life? So I had those written down, and there were 23 people that had a positive impact in my life between birth and when I was 21, which is the end of the book. And I wrote down those 23 people, and I contacted every single one of them. This is where you jump into this timeline. You chunk your life into those periods of time, and you write down anyone in those chunks of time that made a positive difference in your life. When you do that, you write kind of a letter to them of what they did to make such a positive difference, and then you get in touch with them. Yeah, some people have died. You can't find certain people. I found my 3rd grade teacher in Rhode Island who made the biggest impact in my life. I flew back and I reconnected with her. Because I used her as an example of how you can make a difference in someone's life, and I never thanked her. She's the only one that didn't know and the only one that needed to. So in this process, when people asked me, first of all, why did foster care? Because I grew up like those kids. So anything you can imagine a foster child going through, molested, being raped, being kicked out of the house, not having enough food, feeling unworthy and unloved, hiding in a closet, being on the street. That was my life growing up. So that's why I did foster care, because my 3rd grade teacher made such a big impact in my life. I wanted to pay it forward. I did not know that would be 18 kids. There was no magic number to that. But that's why. We can make an enormous impact in the lives of others in passing, but we should let them know. The timeline exercise gives you that opportunity. I emailed every one of them. I got in touch with all 23 of those people. Every one of them said, yes, I could use the story. I sent them that little section of the book, not because I wanted them to tell me it was right or wrong, because I wanted them to see what I was writing about them and what a difference that they made in my life. And then it also opened up conversation for us to talk. It was hard to write about what it was like growing up in a house where I was molested. It was more difficult emotionally to say thank you to people and open that up. But it was in the most positive way of my entire life. So this is if you do one thing from anything, take the time in your life, take a couple weeks and do this and reach out to people. They're the only ones that need to know that you should say thank you. That's it. Now I'm going to say thank you. Thanks, guys.
Yay.